to improve at Yu-Gi-Oh! I know that there is a lot of videos like this already, but I wanted to give my perspective on how I personally went from being new to the game to getting second place at a regional. So my journey took about a year and a half. I noticed that I was getting better when I would consistently top locals, then consistently getting an invite to Nats, to eventually topping a few regionals. So here's some things that I did and what I recommend to anyone trying to improve at the game. So first up, choosing a deck. Find a deck that you're comfortable with. Don't just play the best deck because it's the best deck if you don't have time to learn the ins and outs of it. Build a deck that fits your play style. If you freeze up when it comes to decision making like me, go for a more linear deck. If you thrive off combo decks, go for that. If you like to interact with your opponent during their turn, go for a control deck. You'll feel a lot more comfortable playing a deck that you like and therefore play better. Number 2, learn rulings, interactions, and read the damn card. Learn as much rulings as you can about your deck, the decks of the format, staple cards, etc, etc. I know everyone says to just focus on the decks of the format, and that's true, but you will see a rogue deck here and there, and if you're a new player like me and you see an older archetype, you're like, what the heck does this do? Don't be afraid to read their cards. Your opponent will let you just say, hey, can I read this real quick? Make sure you read it. Read every little bit of it. Also, join a lot of groups on Facebook, go on Reddit. You'll see people posting ruling questions all the time. So make sure you remember those rulings. You don't want to be that person that's like, I don't know how this is going to interact, and your opponent could take advantage of you if they know that you don't know. So definitely learn rulings, interactions, and read the cards. Number 3, learning the decks of the format and their choke points. Finding out how you learn most effectively can kind of benefit you here. Me personally, I'm a hands-on learner, so the way that I've found is most helpful for people like me is building the decks yourself and playing with them. Even if it's not the deck that you're going to choose to go to an event with. You can build them either online or using physical cards, and the more you play with them, the more you will kind of be forced to learn how they work. And if you're playtesting with them and your opponent stops you somewhere, well, you've effectively learned the choke point of that deck. You can keep that in mind when going against that deck in the future. Again, this is just for hands-on learners. Maybe you're the type of person that likes to watch videos to learn decks or just read about them. That's totally okay too, as long as you learn the decks of the format and what they do so you don't just get caught off guard. Number 4, play a lot. Any free time you have should go to playtesting, especially the week before an event. The more you play, the more situations you put yourself in that you're gonna have to learn how to deal with. Even if you have no one to playtest against, you can just draw test hands yourself, play around with it. Imagine how you'd set up going first, or if you're going second and your opponent sets up a board with X, Y, and Z, how would you break it? How would you stop them from setting it up? How many hands have you drawn are not a total brick? How many can actually do something to stop them? One thing that I always do is whenever I build a deck, I constantly do test hands. I draw the top 5 cards. I see, is this a brick? Is this a playable hand? If more often than not it's an unplayable hand, then I know that I need to fix the consistency of the deck. Number 5, and this one's pretty general. Keep a good headspace, don't get tilted with one loss. Take every loss as a learning lesson, be open to learning. Don't be that person that's just like, oh, you'd only won because of this lucky card and my deck is still good. No, there's a reason you lost, and you should probably go over your plays, go over your deck, and find out what could you have done better. No, you didn't lose because this one card is overpowered. There are people who get past that one overpowered card. They play outs to that. They know how to work around that. Just go over your mistakes, learn from them, and you won't make the same mistakes again. For example, when Maxi was at 3, I've seen this all the time where one person would drop Maxi and their opponent would continue to combo off. The person who played the Maxi now has 30 cards in their hand and they proceed to win. So the person should learn from that, okay, I shouldn't go off when they maxi me. So yeah, keep a good headspace, don't get tilted, learn from your mistakes. I hope this helped you in some way. Like I said, this is my personal experience from how I went to being very, very new, very scrub-like, to eventually getting a few tops at some regionals. That's it. Thanks guys for watching. See you all in my next video. Bye-bye.